How to Invoke a Face Mask Exemption at the Veterinarian by Alan Stevo. Dear Mr. Stevo, just wanted to thank you again for your advice and encouragement regarding resistance to mandatory mask mandates. I have an appointment with my vet this week. The vet clinic has a mandatory mask requirement, with which I do not intend to comply, so I emailed the clinic an inquiry this weekend, and not having gotten a reply yet, I called and stated my concerns about not being able to wear a mask safely, as you suggested in several of your articles. The person to whom I spoke was most friendly and solicitous. Turns out the mandatory mask policy refers to the parking lot, since the clinic is not allowing pet owners inside, masks or not. Or in other words, the mask policy is essentially meaningless. Strike a blow for freedom, because every act of resistance makes it a little easier to assert our rights, both for ourselves and for others who wish to live as free as possible. Thanks again, Liberty, John S. Just like any other situation in which someone is claiming authority over you, a face mask requirement at the veterinarian's office can be handled like this. Step 1. Familiarize yourself with the face mask order. This can be done as simply as stating one sentence to an office manager or receptionist over the phone. I see you have a face mask requirement, followed by a period of listening to the response. Step 2. Educate yourself about the exemptions. This can be done with a quick sentence. Do you have any exemptions to this requirement? Followed by quietly listening to the response. Step 3. If required, cite your reason for needing an exemption. A good, clear, concise sentence to use is, I am unable to wear a face mask safely. This can be followed by a period of listening. There's really no need to get more in depth than that. Step 4. Confirm the details of the conversation. You can make sure you understood everything clearly and that everyone is in agreement on how to proceed with a statement like, okay, so I can just come to your front door at 2 p.m. today and mention your name at the door, along with this conversation, and there should be no problem. Is that right? The mask holes, who want a fully masked society, do not hold the moral high ground. This same process can be done for goggle requirements, face shield requirements, temperature testing, and all manner of other invasions, for which you may have a valid exemption. Many millions are exempt, but rather than invoking their exemptions or struggling through the suffering of the dehumanizing process, as they quietly struggle, they are told, you are evil if you even think about not wearing a mask. Really? A one-size-fits-all heavy-handed medical approach for all people, regardless of impact, is the real evil, and I beg you to fight it. Do it for yourself, because if you don't take a stand, it won't end here. Caution. Unopposed orders by out-of-touch bureaucrats lead to more unopposed orders by out-of-touch bureaucrats. The governor of Maine, Janet Mills, on August 14, 2020, ordered the wearing of what are effectively dog cones by restaurant servers as part of her COVID-19 prevention checklist industry guidance. The person who has successfully fought the face mask and learned how to say no will likewise be ready to take on this Twilight Zone-like challenge. Those who don't are assured to see how very twisted the minds of their unchecked elected officials are. Until there is resistance, the policies and enforcement promise to get weirder and weirder. If you have a valid exemption, I encourage you to follow the simple process at the veterinarian or anywhere else to boldly put an end to this tyranny in your own life. You deserve better than to allow yourself to be cowed into harming yourself. You'd never allow such low standards of self-care for a loved one. Why would you allow those low standards for yourself?